Shimano, and I'd like to welcome you to the GLoomis family. Come on in and see how we build the best fishing rods in the world.
I may not be the best fisherman in the world, but I'm a good enough fisherman and a good enough engineer to fish with the best fishermen in the world, find out what they need for a tool to do their job better, come home and design it and build it and get it to them. And in a lot of cases, you miss it the first time or the second time, you finally dial it in and they just say, hey, don't change it, just make more of them, you're there.
You've been here how many years?
Almost 4.
And you were gone for a while, and then you came back, right?
Yeah, I just got back from basic training. I went into the Army Reserves.
Cool. So is this easier than the Army or harder than the Army?
Definitely easier, but it's well worth, protecting your country. But, it's great to come back and, be with the people that I've worked with for so long and then do my share for the country too.
What's it like being here at part of the Loomis? Is there a real family spirit here?
Oh yeah, I mean, it's just like a family.
I've been here since we started. In fact, I helped Gary work on the machinery before we even opened the facility.
I knew what constituted the manufacturing of a good blank, but there was no machinery. So that's when I went to the wife and I said, well, honey, I know what I want to do after 16 years of marriage. She says, what's that? And I said, I want to sell everything that we've accumulated in 17 years, turn it into cash, build our own machinery from the ground floor up, and just you and I be partners. She says, I think you better let me sit down.
The secret to a good rod is to start out with the right material. The graphite that we use in this comes in several forms, but the basis of all graphite is it all starts from dinosaur goo. It's a petroleum-based product. And I burned some of the resin off here so that you can see how fine some of these graphite fibers are. They're as finer than a spider web. And the way graphite material works is it starts in a big blob of like a coal tar material, and then they take it and they spin it, kind of like cotton candy type process, and these ultimately small fibers are then run through several heat processes, and some of them are even sintered up to 2,000 degrees Fahrenheit.
Way cool.
What you saw there that was cool is that these fibers are super high temperature, and you think of graphite like carbon, and it's very, very stable molecule. But the idea here is that these are super, super skinny fibers, and these little teeny fibers are unbelievably strong. But its main property is that it's strong and lightweight. Well, what we do at Loomis is we don't start with raw little teeny fibers. We work with the supplier and order custom design materials that come in a sheet form. And these sheet forms have several different properties. we order this material on this machine. To the right, you'll see our shear machine here. It comes in 1 foot wide lengths because there's not very much material that goes into the tip of a fly rod. So we order material in 1 foot wide lengths, and then we cut it into whatever shape is necessary to make the particular rod that we're dealing with. Our material comes in 2 different types of substrates. There's a fiberglass type material, and that white stuff that you see here is the scrim. The 3 main components in all material for fishing rods is the fibers, and we looked at those earlier, and the fibers are the part that wasn't burning. Then the next material is the scrim, and the scrim has some important things that help keep the rod from collapsing. It helps with manufacturing. And the third component is the glue, the resin, and this material has some stickum to it. You can see it wants to kind of stick to my finger. And that glue, the resin, is the sticky part. Most rods are about 1/3 of their weight is the resin, is the glue in the rod. So there is another material that we use that isn't fiberglass scrim, that's graphite scrim. And GLoomis was the first company to ever use this material. It's a real tough thing to work with, but it's what we use in our top-end fly rods and some of our spinning and cast rods. And I'm going to tear down this, and you'll see there's no white material here, but there's this little veil of scrim, of graphite scrim, and it's very difficult to work with, but it makes a lighter, more high-performance part. So the trick is to know when to use what material to optimize the performance for the rod.
Gary came to us with the idea of buying his company that he'd created, and you know, it was very well known that GLoomis was obviously the best in the business when it came to making rods. And you know, for Shimano, that was really a no-brainer to match the two. We had the highest performance reels since forever, and we've always been wanting to make a